Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Best Boys of Film podcast. I still said I'm joined with my friend here, Kory.
With a story. Welcome back, everybody, for another exciting adventure, an exciting episode of Boys Being Best.
I'm JP. And I'm here. We're running on fumes today. And neither of us have slept very well. We'll explain that here in a minute. But we're here. Rain or shine, we're gonna get these things in. We're dedicated. We're here for you. Yeah. A little foggy, but I'm here. I don't know how you do this stuff. I can't hang. I can't hang with the no sleep life in the ripe old age of 31.
Oh, I hate it. I can do it on tour because I'm like mentally prepared for it, but when it just kind of happens out of nowhere, it's so fucking worse. But either way, here we are. I've got my caffeine-free drinks.
Jeez.
Because I don't drink coffee. That sucks.
Why do you want caffeine-free drink right now?
This is all I had.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have had a coffee this morning and I don't drink coffee. But we're struggling. I was at camp with my partner at our family's camp, and we stayed in a tent in the tent area, and apparently they get buck wild down there. So there was this loud partying throughout the night. You're in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm back in the city of Angles.
You're angular. What's going on up there?
Nothing. I got flown out, or I flew out here to work with my buddy Evan. He's a DP out here. We were shooting a Netflix special for this comedian Matt Rife. He's like an up and coming guy. He was on like a couple seasons of Wild 'N Out, and I think he did like TRL and something else.
That's cool. That's cool.
Super nice guy, super great guy. His set was really funny. Like I think he killed it. It should turn out good. We just shot it over in this like smaller, like more intimate venue over in North Hollywood, and it was cool. Really excited to see how it turns out. We wrapped last night at like 2, and then had to return some gear and stuff last night, so we like didn't get home and in bed till 3:30, and then had to get up at 8. But here we are. We're doing it. The Pit Bros run on no sleep, and they make it happen.
I don't. But I do. What I do is I'm trying to make a commitment. That's what I'm here for. That's much more exciting than what's going on with us. But yeah, luckily, well, I don't know if it's luckily or bad luck, unluckily, but we have two new, fairly new, released in the last couple months, and 2 good movies this week. A nice, refreshing week after, what was Boomfest, the action spectacular.
Yeah. Rising from the ashes of Boomfest.
I would say that
movies.
Both of these movies are definitely antithesis of a Boomfest film. At least, especially one of them. But I would say honestly both of them. One of them is decidedly so, but I'll get to that in a minute. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get right into this shit?
I just had my singular piece of hot news that I'm just gonna bring from now on. Just one piece. Trevor, the creator of The Whitest Kids You Know, died this week.
Get out of here.
Yeah, age 41.
What?
The only details I could find was that they just said it was an accident, but they didn't say what it was.
Why wasn't it all over the place?
I read it yesterday. I found it came up in my Google feed.
He died in an accident, it says.
Yeah, but it doesn't say. I couldn't find if it was a car accident or It just
It
said
just
his
says
life was an
accident.
accident.
Wow. Wow. I always felt like that guy. He was like the fun. He was like the funniest one. He was like the main
Yeah,
kid.
he's the I guess the host and creator of the troupe
Like I would.
of the
I
group.
am. I always thought that he was had more in him. But apparently that is not so. So well, that's sad. Sad. I definitely am a fan of that show. It's hit or miss, but I think it's got some really good hits.
Yeah.
Really good highs. And I'm sure everyone's got different ones, but yeah. But all right. Well, that's a somber note to start, but I think it's
Yeah.
perhaps
But I thought it was important to bring up for those who grew up watching that on IFC.
perhaps appropriate. I don't know, because we have couple somber films today. One of them a little silly, but I think we should start with The Green Knight if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
So The Green Knight, directed by David Lowery, in the year of 2021, finally released after a long wait with the pandemic. It was supposed to be released last year, but with the pandemic, they decided to hold it so it could be released in theaters. And I think it was a good idea. Whether we go back into a lockdown or whatever, whatever happens from this point, they found a nice sweet spot to get some people in the theater to see it. There wasn't a ton of people in the theater for me. Where did you see it on?
I saw it out here yesterday in the
On
AMC
a
Promenade.
theater.
Yeah, no, just like a regular AMC. There's a
Um,
mall like 5 minutes from Evan's house.
was there any people in there?
No, it was like I think it was like me and three other people.
Were you by yourself?
Hmm.
Um, I very much enjoyed being back. I said this last week, but I very much
Yeah, oh
enjoyed
yeah,
being back.
I just realized, yeah, it's my first theater back experience.
I think it was a great film to come back to,
Oh,
personally.
for sure. Yeah, this was super cool.
Like,
And the sorry, good.
no, I'm probably gonna say what you're gonna say, just how epic and beautiful and how well this is shot. It just lends itself. I get there's moments like this where I'm like, I get why people like David Lynch like rage, why you shouldn't watch certain movies on phones because you're missing something. And as much as I enjoy a big 4K TV with
Yeah.
much sharper screen, it's something to be said about the big ass sound system and the big screen.
Oh yeah, dude, the big
Experience.
audio is what sells it for me. Just having that like big experience and feel like you're there, and then you don't have the whole thing where you have to constantly turn the TV up and down to hear dialogue, or turn down explosions. But
Um,
yeah, the color palette on this was so cool.
it
Um,
changed. It changed. Well, it doesn't maybe not change, but the coloring of scenes were different a lot.
yeah, yeah. The what really took me away with this is I didn't know I've been going blind in all these things lately. Um, so like didn't know it was a King Arthur thing or anything, and it was
Oh
cool.
yeah, I
But
knew that. I knew that. I didn't know the story itself. Riss did, my partner. She read it before we went, so we had
mm,
two different takes. That way. Go ahead.
but the what's crazy about this is what do you think the budget for this movie was off the top of your head? Hopefully you don't know it already.
I did see it. It's I know it's bigger than a ghost story, but I don't think it's that big. I remember it being like, I wanted to say like 10 million or no, that's way under.
15 million.
Yeah, I thought that was in the. I remember it being in the tens, the
Yeah, I was
teens.
when I read that this morning, I'm just brushing up on everything before we started. I was just shocked because
That's
this
incredible
felt like,
use of budget.
oh my God, I know, right? Because it feels huge, especially the scenes with the giants and stuff. Like the CGI looks great, and the fucking
Mostly
like the I mean, for like what now, knowing what it is, like for what the budget is, like
for
that
knowing
looks
it's 15
great. Like
million. Yeah, it looks
yeah,
fantastic. I think
it,
that
it
a lot
captures
of
scale well
a
with
lot
no
of
money.
a lot of practical, not practical, but more rudimentary special effects, particularly with the scene with the giants.
Mm.
Like I feel like that's something. I mean, I'm sure they did it with green screens and stuff, but that's something I've seen done on show. Me and Riss have been rewatching Xena Warrior Princess, and they'll do
Ooh.
giants on that show, and it's a really cool way that they did it, and it's like late '90s USA TV budget, and they really convey like giants really well in that show. And it kind of reminded me of that because they just like the proportions of a regular person, just tall. They remind me of Attack. We were also watching Attack on Titan, and they remind me of Titans.
Yeah.
Just fully flat, like nicer Titans.
Yeah, just glowing white.
Like gray white Titans. But yeah, I guess I'm skipping ahead.
Yeah, so do you want to do a rundown of plot real quick, or do you just want to go into like thoughts throughout plot?
So the plot, I mean, we can talk about the basic plot without going too deep, because we can talk about every scene, but it's really about this movie is a vibe movie, I would call it. Say it is more like there is plenty of content here and much to chew on, whether you have read or interested in the Arthurian shit or not. It helps to know the basic shit of like Arthur, Guinevere, the Round Table, Merlin, and like Dev Patel's character Gawain, which they say different every time they say his name. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
But you know why that is?
No, I don't.
Because nobody knows what the true pronunciation of that word, that spelled name is.
Oh.
So
wow,
since they don't know, they just say it because they say Gawain, they say Gawain, Gawin, like they say a bunch of different shit throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
There's just incredible attention to detail. And there's a lot of simplicity, minimalism, but that's what in that it feels grand. You're getting big landscapes.
That's what I was gonna say. Of like going back to the budget, was just like this felt big. Like this felt like I thought they did the scale very well. Like if you feel like he traversed the fucking lands across this movie, not just doing the raid, and changing the numbers on the doors every scene.
And just not needing that many sets.
Yeah.
Like other than on location landscapes being the majority of what you're shooting. And only having one or couple actors in the main parts. The most expensive scene is probably the beginning of the game, where I would say, right? Or like the giants, and there's stuff that also could be that I don't know the ins and outs of that you might, but it just the most shit was happening during the beginning, and then it became a much more quiet tale.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes back and forth on just like is the cost of actors versus the cost of CGI and set design, for what would be probably the most expensive scene to shoot, because you have all the big, like all of the named people are right up in the front, like because they rehashed the brothel, the girl from the brothel gets rehashed as another character.
That's Alicia Vikander. She plays two characters in this movie. I don't know. There's debate if it's on purpose for narrative reasons, for literal reasons, or if it's done for more metaphorical reasons.
Yeah, what I had looked into and what I would probably agree with is the more like metaphorical reason. It was just like what's it called? I just lost it.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep going then.
Sorry.
They well, I know it's like a thing with like the mom. We haven't talked about the plot too much, but Gawain's mom, who is Morgan Le Fay, who is from the classic Arthur books and tales. She is like kind of manufactured this quest for Gawain to give him something to do, and she seems to have a hand in a lot of these events. Maybe not everyone, but in a few. In particular, that woman having that particular visage and dealing with the magic sash, that I feel like that there's a lot of people I read thought that the mom that was the mom, or like a form of the mom, like possessing or doing some kind of magic to because there's a lot of incest in the classic Arthur books as
Yeah, yeah.
well.
I
Not a
thought
lot.
I
There's not a lot, but there it
yeah.
exists.
I don't know why. I just assumed that the other blindfolded woman at the Lord's house was just like representing the mom, like watching over like the quest or some shit. But
The sash is the connection, and also the cum,
yeah,
which we'll get to. But let's run it back. So we didn't talk about the premise. So the premise is Gawain is played by Dev Patel. He's a piece of shit. He's grown up, but he's not officially a knight because he hasn't done anything. And he goes to the Christmas dinner with King Arthur, and the whole round table is there. And he asks him what he's done, and he's like, "I haven't done anything, and I am not deserving." Like he's pretty like self-aware of his shittiness. Like it's not like he's cocky and foolhardy. He likes to go to the brothel and he likes to get drunk, is what I've gathered from him outside of the quest itself. But all of a sudden, this magical, wooden knight made of like he's like a tree knight of like a tree folk man shows up and challenges someone there, and Gawain takes the challenge, seeing as an opportunity to make his own story. The knight says, you can strike me down, and then in a year's time I will strike, come meet me at this certain place and I'll deal you the blow back. So Dev Patel cuts his head off, and then a year later he has to go find the knight again and finish the quest
on Christmas, no less.
On Christmas. And yeah, so that's where we're at. It's a simple tale. It feels like an old school fantasy. Like, I mean, honestly, Monty Python and the Holy Grail came up in my mind. Not a lot, but a decent amount. Like, just how it's like an event after an event after an event. Like they're like going through. And
it reminded me of like the Greek story, like the old Greek movies. Where
I think that is it too. Like myths, like just the classic hero's journey in the construction of myths and things like that.
Yeah, and then the hero's got to go through so many trials and tribulations, but each one is like a sectioned off like thing, and then you're on to like the next area. It's almost like kind of like a game, like going through like the different like levels, so to speak.
Oh, and like the very beginning, it's funny you said game, because it reminds me of like not Zelda, but something like, or like Metroid, where you start the game when you have all this shit, and then they find a reason to take it all away from you, and then you get it back as the game progresses, and it's almost like not even for narrative reasons. It's like, oh, you passed this trial, we're gonna give you your axe back. Oh, you passed this trial, we're gonna give you your cum sash back. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, and it progresses the story, and I feel like someone who's not familiar with that classic way of telling a tale might not appreciate that. Like, it seems like a plot hole. How does he just get the axe back? It just magically comes back. It's because he did something right or whatever. If you're familiar with King Arthur stories, that kind of shit happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfuckers just lose their sword and then do a special thing and they get it back, and or whatever. It happens all the time.
They help an old lady across the street and they get all their shit.
That's it. It's like, it's like Zelda. You got to get your master sword back.
Exactly. And just like Zelda, granted, the Excalibur pulling the sword of the stone isn't in this one, but that is in Zelda with the master sword. Gotta pull it from
it makes me realize how much Zelda is influenced by Arthurian, not just Arthurian, but classic medieval stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was just sorry. If you have a final point about that, I was just wanted to talk about the cast.
I was just gonna say I started playing Breath of the Wild again to just kind of look for random shit, and it's such a good game.
The cast is excellent. I mean, mostly it's just Dev Patel and Alicia Vikander because she plays two characters. But even the supporting cast, Kate Dickie and Joel Edgerton, and
I loved the voice of the Green Knight.
That's Ralph Ineson. Yeah, he's from The Witch. He's the lead in.
Yeah,
he's like the
I
dad
knew I
in
knew
The
that.
Witch.
Yeah, I knew his voice. but I couldn't like obviously he's in all makeup. I couldn't
Even
remember
Game of
where I
Thrones
saw him
too.
from. But yeah, his voice is so fucking like unique.
Yeah, the
So gravelly
Queen,
and deep.
Guinevere was also in Game of Thrones. But yeah,
I still
Dev
haven't.
Patel's awesome.
Yeah, he's cool.
It was such a great casting. I think he looks great. It was a little, it's a subversion, but I think it just fits so well. It's
Yeah,
such a good pick. Um, and I
yeah, I
like
think it
want to
works.
see more of his stuff. I've always I've never seen Slumdog Millionaire, and I've always want to see that. Um,
Wait, is that? Oh my God, I didn't realize with the mustache. That's the guy from Slumdog Millionaire.
yeah, he's grown. This is him all grown up. I think we're the same
Wow,
age. Me and him.
I
Looks like
did not
I think he
realize.
might be like a year older than me or something.
Damn, I did not realize. Yeah, because he's great in that, but he looks like a baby in comparison to this.
Oh yeah, that Slumdog Millionaire was like mid 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Danny Boyle. That's on the list. So maybe
Who
we'll have
wants
to
to be
bump it
a
up.
millionaire?
Yeah, I just thought he was so good at playing this because he was like he felt chivalrous and he felt like he could. He seemed like he had this in him,
Mm.
because he was very cowardly, and in the end, he still had to face that cowardice, and ultimately overcomes it. It's a little ambiguous, I would say, but I don't. We'll talk about the end. I don't know when we're ready to talk about the ending, but me and Risp had very differing opinions on how the ending was all handled.
Mm.
My only real gripes in this, I thought the CG fox looked bad. And I would
Yeah.
have loved it to have been a real fox somehow. I know that they couldn't probably train a wild fox and have it do what they wanted to do, and but there's just something lost with the CG fox. It's especially because it's CG the entire time.
Hmm.
Um, that's my
Yeah.
really that's really my only thing I think looks bad. It does take me out of it. It's not like it doesn't ruin the movie for me. It's not like this fucking sucks or anything, but
Yeah.
that I would feel like the fox, like, is that even necessary to the movie? Is the fox that central to the movie and the story that you couldn't represent it in a better way than a CG fox?
I didn't really like. I don't know. I guess it's just you get used to like so much shit being CGI. It didn't really bother me. I just like to say it's one of those things where the cinematography was so good that I like most of the things like that. I just kind of didn't really pay attention to.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it's not gonna kill the movie for me, but
yeah. But
I very much didn't like it. That's one of the few. The fact that that is one of the top things that I'm critiquing the movie for is all you need to know about how good this movie is. The movie is not is very divisive. It's getting very divisive reaction. The audience reactions on
really,
all the sites are really bad compared to the critics. Critics love it. Audiences not so much. I think the issue that a lot of A24 movies run in, and it's more so happens with the horror movies, is they get marketed a certain way,
hmm
and people think that they're going to see a more common style of movie, more Hollywood style of movie, whether this like action, fantasy, adventure,
hmm
or more something more Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings, and then or with horror movies they always make it seem like it's going to be the slasher jump scare fest, and then you get like Hereditary or
yeah,
Ghost Story, um, and those are very much not those kinds of horror movies, popcorn horror movies. They're
yeah.
more contemplative or whatever, slower. And,
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I like. Granted, I went in blind. All I saw was the poster. But
I thought all the marketing was excellent, personally.
yeah, I watched the trailer this morning, like after the fact, and just kind of to see what all it was. But like, I don't know, it worked for me. I thought it was cool. I watched this little featurette thing with the what is it, Ralph Ineson this morning, or it's just
Yeah,
him.
I watched that. That's what me and Riss watched, and Riss was like, "Okay, I want to see this."
Yeah, it was cool though. It was like, because it's like Dev Patel's like he's like charismatic with the him wanting to be like he's looking for honor, but he hasn't done anything honorable yet. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
that's just what he wants to do. It's like jumping at the first chance to take it, and then he just kind of like from there on he just kind of carried me, like took me with him. Like I'm in, I'm cool. Like this, I didn't expect this to be actiony or whatever, but I did expect it to be more, phantasmal. I think that's the word. Um, and I was satisfied. I got all the it didn't feel like an A24 slow burn to me. This just felt like a nice like journey.
I
Uh,
thought so too, and I saw a lot of people complaining that it was slow, and it was quiet. It was quiet, and it was had a longer runtime, and it was um I guess it had slow moments, but it was just like these sequences of quests and trials. Honestly,
mm,
the very first one with the bandits.
yeah,
The main bandit is I forget his name. I should have wrote it down. But he is he is in killing of a sacred deer, and he steals the show in that fucking movie, and he stole that scene also. Like it's like that guy is a really good actor. Let me see his name.
I like the vision sequences going in and out where like it wasn't like you couldn't tell what's a vision and what's not, or like what's reality and what's not, but it just kind of I enjoyed like
He straight up tripped on mushrooms at one point.
yeah, like I like the fucking the shit because he sees the scavenger on the one and just does the fucking like the star, like the it's like Star Wars, the hyperdrive thing where the stars are just like going and shit. I like that effect. I like it. It looks cool.
Barry Keoghan is his name. He's in Dunkirk as well. He's George in Dunkirk.
Gotcha.
Great actor. Great actor. You love that scene. I love the scene with the ghost. It was like a D&D quest. Like you had to figure out what this ghost needs and where her head is and solve this murder afterwards just so she can go into the afterlife. And I like that. I like the giant sequence. I thought it was beautiful and had a cool style to it that some people thought probably wasn't realistic looking, but I thought it looked so cool. I thought the ending was good. I'm trying to think if I'm missing a scene. The Lord, Joel Edgerton, the Lord, and his wife, and the cum sash.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dev Patel Gawain is way ahead of schedule and stops at this Lord's estate to rest before the final leg. And the Lord is weird, and it's just him and his lady, and the lady seems to be hitting on Gawain, and somehow he loses his sash at some point in the adventure. I forget how, but she says she's gonna like make one and get it back, and they're like flirting the whole time. And on the last morning when he's about to leave, she just like gets in his bed, jacks him off. He comes so really fast, and it's all over the sash, and they show a shot of the sash with cum all over it, and I was like, wow. I straight up was like, whoa, in the theater
So
when that happened. And not even that it's so powerful, it's just like, holy shit, like they are doing this.
It's
So
cool. Definitely, yeah, it was definitely not something that I was like prepared to see, but it was. I
yes,
mean,
it's shocked. It was shocking.
yeah, I didn't. I just sounds weird, but I enjoyed seeing it because
I
it was
thought it
just
was,
different.
yeah. I was like, I don't know what's going on yet, but this is cool. That's definitely what I thought to myself. I definitely thought it was. I don't know why the shot of semen was cool, but I can tell you it was. Because there's some
Yeah, no,
link. There's some kind of link with Hum and his mother, and the face of his love interest. And I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of connection to all that with all that, in my opinion.
yeah, it's I had read something this morning that was saying like it's after the ending, it kind of makes you think about like how much of it is real, how much of it is in his head, how much of it is just part of the grand Arthurian like just legend telling, and how
Yeah.
much of it is like Like how much of this is just in his head of him just retelling the story to some from his perspective to someone else to make it sound grand, like it like you would back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I've seen things from being like the fox is like his mom, or just like there's all these things about his mom, or just like with him like watching the journey and shit. Um, but the ending, I mean, I would like to think for Dev Patel's sake that
Dave
he Dave Dave Patel,
Dave Paddle.
Dave. um, I like to think that the Green Knight was just like, all right, cool, you're honorable, get out of here, skedaddle. Um, but apparently the discourse online is that it's
He's gonna get his head
any
chopped off.
yeah, because of the off with your headline. But
So Riss is my literature insider, and she said that the original book, and she said that she was 100% because we had to look into it a couple times, but she said at the end, the same thing happens. He takes off the sash, and the whole thing is the same. Not the flash, not the like vision, but like takes it off after flinching sometimes, and then instead of the Green Knight cutting his head off, it just scratches him like bad, like cuts him bad, but doesn't kill him, just a wound. And he goes back, and all the knights of the Round Table are wearing green, and they're all laughing at him. And that's what. And like it was all some kind of test. It was like a fake quest. Like he wasn't gonna be killed. It was like to show his bravery. And apparently he failed like every test of his virtues until that last moment of which was no, it wasn't bravery, it was honesty, is what Riss said. Because he was honest about the sash and and fulfilling the bargain and all that.
Yeah. I assumed that this whole quest was all just made, like the Green Knight was just made from his mom and the other witches and just her magic people, and all to just give her son a chance to be honorable. So I just assumed he's not, after watching, it's like he was never really in any threat because his mom set this whole thing up.
What did it? We also didn't talk about the Joel Edgerton kiss. So as apparently there's another game while he's at the estate, and he's Dev Patel's at the estate, and Joel Edgerton's like, whatever you get here, you must promise me that you give me, like from anyone else, you give me. And by the end of it, he's like, you got something, didn't you, bruh? And he meant I guess he meant the jack off. I assume he was getting jerked off.
You got finished in my house, so you need to.
My turn. And he just gives him a kiss, and it's like very sensual, like love, not sensual as in like it was loving, like it was like it was just a kiss, like it was no tongue or anything. It was just like a lip on lip kiss, but it was very slow and soft, and it felt a passion. It had passion in it, even though it was subtle. And all Dev Patel does, Dev Patel finishes the kiss, like does not stop it, and then just like puts his hand on his arm, is like, unhand me, sir. It's like very politely, like, hey, no. And then and then leaves.
Man, like I'm cool. Like this happened. We both know it. That's fine. I'm cool. But no,
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out of here.
Never again.
Me, sir. Yeah, I think I laughed at that. I might have laughed.
The post-credit scene, I don't know what it means.
Wait, there was a post-credit scene?
Yeah, it's just like a young girl finding like a crown on the ground and putting it on her head.
Oh man, why do movies I hate post-credit scenes.
I've just been trained to Marvel has trained me to just not leave until the credits are done.
Well, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I gotta tell Riss about that. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, but that doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't reveal anything else about the film. like the
No, yeah,
plot.
that's why I didn't really read into it at all. I just remembered it now. The
Well then, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I don't. I mean, to me, I mean, I'm the layman. I don't really know like a lot of the history of this stuff, but it just was like I don't know who the young girl is. I don't know why she's wearing the king's crown, but it's there and it happened. Um, but I don't know. I would you. So what do you think? Do you think he lives, or do you think he got killed, or do you think it's all? Oh, I guess because it's you. What Riss said is the I guess taking out the lore from behind it. Do you think that it's
So what I
just
originally thought before Riz
yeah,
told me
yeah,
that. Well,
yes,
first before we do that, I feel like we need to talk about the fake out ending, because it just shows him running away, and it literally shows the future that would happen if he ran away,
yeah,
and in the movie it literally goes on and throughout the rest of his life, and as he becomes king because Arthur is sick, and because he's the heir, which is the other thing I forgot about Gawain is that because he's related to Arthur, he's the heir to the throne because Arthur doesn't have kids. Um, and
is he Arthur's nephew,
yeah, because Morgan Le Fay is his sister,
half sister?
half sister. Um, So like they go on and they show him have kids, and Alicia Vikander is his girlfriend, not the lady of the estate, but his original girlfriend is I think a sex worker of some kind.
Yeah, she works at the brothel.
Works at a brothel. And there's like a scene where she like asks if he would make her a lady, and he doesn't answer, and she
He
has
just
a
takes his
baby,
kid.
and he takes the kid away. They take the kid away. Merlin takes the kid away, and all that, and
As he grows old, kid
it
dies in
dies in
battle.
war. Yeah, yeah, but then all of a sudden it reverts back to Gawain kneeling before the Green Knight, offering his neck, and then he's like, "Wait!" and then he takes off the cum sash of invincibility. Oh yeah, I don't think we explained that. The sash of invincibility, or the sash is supposed to protect him from harm if he wears it. So I think he took the sash off, to be honest with this wager and have honor in his possible final moment. And then we just see him go to get chopping and get to chopping, and then the movie ends. Yeah, Riss didn't like the fake out. Riss didn't like the fake out.
I was just like, oh man, he really is a fucking wuss. Like he really just fucked off.
Yeah, I was
on
like,
all
wow,
this.
he didn't learn anything. That's like a thing. I was like, wow, there's like nothing learned from this story, from all this. Ultimately, I was like, is that the subversion? Is that the subversion of this tale? Is that he doesn't learn anything?
Well, I mean, eventually he does, because at the end of the fake out, he like takes off the cum sash, and whenever the people are about to burst into the castle or whatever.
Yeah,
to,
he's
like,
about to
accept
be
his fate.
slaughtered.
Like he's like, it took him, how many decades to finally realize it.
It was a death he couldn't escape.
Yeah, it's but it seemed like, I don't know, the way I took it is just kind of like it was him living a life, like living a lifetime to realize what what the right thing to do was.
Like your life flashing before your eyes. It's like a potential life.
And then, like finally making the right decision of just kind of like, all right, like I deserve this or whatever. That's what brings him back into like the before the fake out. But it was cool. I liked it. I like that. It was interesting just to see, it's the what if scenario. And then the Green Knight puts his thumb across his neck, and this is off with his head.
Yeah.
But it was dope. I all in all thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I like Pig better or not than this, but I guess we'll get into it after we talk about Pig.
Oh my god. I like both of these. I like both of these, but there's a clear answer in that question. That's why I groaned.
Yeah. I just the other one's just weird.
in all the right ways, but also in weird ways.
Yeah. Pig. We're gonna get to Pig.
Yeah.
'Cause just know that I liked it.
Yeah.
I think this was like a masterclass film. Pig, I don't think is quite masterclass film. But that's what I'll say. I think we can get, if we're ready, I think I'm ready to score this baby.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
4.5.
Oh, me too. That's what I was gonna say.
Riss originally gave it a 3.5, and then she went to 4. Yeah, 4.5. I think there's just a few, I think probably a little bit more budget. The CGI Fox, a few things, maybe pacing, maybe. But this movie was gorgeous. This movie was super interesting. This was an immersive world. This is such a cool modern take on classic shit. Every time they make Arthur stuff, it always sucks. This is like the best Arthur thing to come out since like the Excalibur movie.
It also just feels like its own thing. It doesn't feel like an Arthur style.
Yeah, it's
movie
almost
from
like
Richard
I'm not like, I don't want to compare it to like a comic book because it's not pulpy, but it has almost some of that. Like it's its own stylized. It's a stylized version of that.
Yeah, it's like getting a different artist to come and draw it than your traditional guys.
Yeah, an aesthetic and just the whole style. Yeah, I love this movie. This is A24 movie. We forgot to mention that. And this is probably up there with the best of them if you're into those. I don't know if we also mentioned David Lowery did a Ghost Story, which is also one of my favorite A24 movies.
And the Pete's Dragon live action adaptation.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it came out a couple years, like 2016. Is that? He wrote and directed it for Disney. He's also doing the next Peter Pan movie, I think, for Disney.
Well, like the Pete's Dragon movie couldn't have done well. Right?
I don't know. I didn't see
Well,
it.
he did Pete's Dragon before he did a Ghost Story. So he started just doing mainstream shit. Or no, there's art stuff in earlier here.
I think his first thing was the fuck's it called? I just looked up this morning. Is
Saint Nick?
Oh, Ain't Them Bodies Saints is from what I saw was his first his big movie that got him
acclaim. Yeah, it's a Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. Oh yeah. Oh, maybe I'll put that on the list. I'm interested because those two are both in Ghost Story. Huh. Yeah, loved it. Loved it. I want to see more David Lowery stuff. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, it was good. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Definitely. And the only reason I say that I don't know whether I like Pig or not better than this is just because I just love Nick Cage.
I know what you mean. I'm gonna talk about that factor because there's a charm that comes not just Nick Cage, but the way this movie was made.
Yeah.
There's like
also
the charm of this movie carries it far, but it's also it's a good movie.
Before we switch, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Before I forget, and before we switch over to Pig, though, so far Green Knight is not doing great at the box office. It hasn't made its money back yet.
I mean, it's an art movie, and it's also we're still dealing with this weird.
But there's not a lot of movies out right now, and there's not a lot of good movies out right now. Like it's competing with bad movies, and which is sad that it's like right now it's currently sitting at 12.2 million at the box office.
They're saying that it might be. It's like A24 trying to break through more into the mainstream with it.
But they intentionally refuse to do simultaneous release for this, like for at home and theaters. It's exclusively theaters.
I know a lot of people that want to see it. Joel saying he wanted to see it. A lot of my a few of my friends have seen it, but a lot of people said they wanted to. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because the state of everything. And also, I don't know. This movie is not a mainstream movie. I hate to say that.
No.
No, not saying that it doesn't deserve to be put on this pedestal. It's just to expect it to be a box office smash. Like, I mean, I guess it could be potential Oscar Academy Award material, for sure. But it needs those legs to get there, I guess. And it's amazing because the budget is not that big, so it's not even making a dent.
Have to. Yeah, it doesn't have to make it doesn't have to make a lot. All it has to do is do decent. But the I don't know. I based on the critical reception and everything, I figured it would. I mean, for me, this should bring in at least 30 million at box office. But we'll also see with home release. I mean, a lot of movies like this usually make a lot of their money and at home, but with like streaming and all that, who knows? How much money you actually bring in on that, because DVD sales are dead and Blu-ray sales are dying.
Yeah, that's a shame because a lot of people I saw multiple articles talking about this being a litmus test for A24 and indie in the new indie wave.
Yeah.
So that's a shame, but I'm glad I supported it.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a blast with it. It was really good. I'm like in this whole like, you've got me into this like what like the expecting of these like the indie movies, where like the slow burns I'm looking forward to, and so that's why they don't feel like slow burns or anything like that to me.
Yeah, you have to. It's a mindset. I had to like reconfigure my mind to just like let yourself be immersed in the world and the story, and just like let it happen instead of just like come on, get to plot, get to more plot, and plot's happening. It's just unfolding, through dialogue or through quieter scenes. Pig, I thought was going to be a bit quieter than it ended up being. Actually, I thought this was because Nicolas Cage character is very stoic, man, a few words, and especially throughout the first act. But yeah, this movie was not exactly what I expected. Part of me thought it was going to be action, John Wick taken. Where's my pig?
I have written down on my notes Rob Wick. As soon as the pig got stolen, I was like, oh, they're gonna go fucking Mandy style. Like they're gonna go John Wick. Like it's just gonna be Nick Cage fucking shit up.
I think they purposely cast him to help subvert, because he plays a very subdued performance.
Yeah, it ended up not being what I
throughout
thought.
the film. And there's even one moment where he finally like breaks down and emotes, like is just crying, and it's silent. They take the audio away, and I was like, what a good decision! What a cool decision to do that, because we expect that at some point. There's a lot of subversion. This movie is definitely the anti-John Wick.
Yes, because instead of him kicking ass, he's just getting his ass kicked, literally, left and right. Not left and right, but like he's the way he's going about to get his information is so opposite John Wick. And I'm not gonna lie, I was confused for a bit. I had to like read stuff after the movie to kind of figure out, because I thought this whole thing was like what are truffles used to make drugs or some shit? But then it just kept going all in on just being like chefs. And this underground fucking thing of chefs.
But truffles can be worth a fuckload of money. So like
apparently so.
Me and Riss knew that. So we watched it together as well, and we were talking about, oh, this is so clever because it's like high end, food ingredients. There's like a black market for them to circumvent taxes and shit like that, to get shit cheaper or direct. And I think that super clever, super fresh idea. And then like the pig brings it all together. The truffle pig. It's very much, there's like Alex Wolff's character. It gives me super 80s vibes with the way he dresses and his car and everything. So there's, I don't know, there's a weird time to it. It's like I couldn't place it at first, and then it felt more modern once we went to like the restaurants.
Well, as soon as I saw the dude in the Camaro with the cell phone and everything, I was like, oh, okay, so this is like current time.
Mm.
And it just kind of like it feels like it's bringing you up to modern day just as the movie goes on because you're slowly getting out of the woods and more into the urban environment. Um, the uh, I thought that guy was cast great, the Alex Wolf guy, played Amir. I liked his relationship with Nick Cage, even if Nick Cage barely says anything most of the movie. Um,
Yeah,
it was just
Alex Wolff's a good actor. He was actually, ironically, I told you I watched Jumanji last night, the 2017 one, and Alex Wolff is in it. Is like one of the kids that go into the video game people bodies. He's the
yeah.
Rock. Alex Wolff
Oh,
is in the Rock's body in the Jumanji, but he's also
nice.
the male lead in Hereditary, and
Yeah, that's what I thought he was from.
that's his breakout role for sure. I've seen him in a few other things.
Wait, isn't he the guy from Naked Brothers Band for the
He
Nickelodeon
is.
show?
He is. His brother is Nat Wolff, who was in the Death Note live action movie. And I think one of them was in a movie I saw called Kill Team or something like that. And it was like about Iraq, and it had one of the Scars guards in it. It was pretty fucking good. I really liked it. So everything these honestly, I was skeptical of them, and even after Hereditary, I was like, maybe is this guy gonna keep doing the hits? But
Yeah.
I like him a lot, and everything he's in usually. He plays a nerd in the Jumanji movies. He's like, oh, he's like one of those kind of characters. But he's
Nice.
not in it a lot, but yeah.
He
Yeah,
he must not be that old then, because he's I figured he was like
he's
he looks
23.
in real life.
Yeah, I
Oh my
have his
God,
wiki up right now.
Jesus, I thought he was like my age. He looks either I look younger or he looks old, but um yeah, the whole time I thought he was just late 20s. Maybe it's the facial hair in the movie, but man, I was gonna say I have the most of all the characters in the movie. I have the most sympathy for the entire movie. It is sad about the pig and everything, and Nick Cage's character, but I felt like this movie ended up really just being about Amir fucking dealing with his parents' situation.
Yeah, that's really what the movie is about. I mean, Nick Cage got a dead wife, and he's looking for his pig. And we're learning about his how he was like the best chef ever, and he's the chef that made a dish that made Amir's parents happy for a moment before they
Yeah.
got divorced. And Amir's mom is on life support, is incapacitated, incapacitated, and
Yeah.
the dad,
Um,
who I recognize, but I don't know what from.
Same. I had the exact same reaction.
I think maybe his hair changed, like he got older or something. Sometimes that can really make someone look different. I looked up his Wikipedia, and there wasn't a ton of it was a ton of movies I'm familiar with, but none that I've seen and knew well. So maybe this is
Yeah.
like one of those kind of things. I had a problem though with the dad villain. The dad villain felt weird to me. I did not understand. Maybe that I just wasn't like on the level of this movie, and it was on a deeper level than I was feeling. But I did the whole thing with the parents and like the dad and this meal and Nicolas Cage, and they're all connected. It just wasn't a real, the connection wasn't believable enough to me that this meal was so fucking good that it changed this guy's life. And then they make it for him again, thinking it's gonna bring the pig back, and it doesn't.
Mm.
And just well, what the fuck was all this for?
Yeah, I feel like he could have just been straight up. It's like, oh, your pig's dead. Like, sorry, it was dead. Like here's some money because I feel bad, but why string it along to try to convince them to just to convince Nick Cage to just leave when you could have just ended the movie probably a good half hour before, or not about 20 minutes earlier. But I don't know. I don't know. I just kind of went along for the ride. I just thought it was my favorite part about it was just how weird I felt the whole movie about how just all in on the whole chef and food thing it was because I was just not expecting that the entire movie. From the time they go to the Fight Club thing on, which also confused the hell out of me, and I don't know. if you could explain that better.
Yeah.
But
Yes. So I didn't understand the Fight Club scene and just thought it was just for let's just do something crazy. I thought that like let's just make this world wild and just have him show up at a
yeah,
fight club and
it
get
felt
beat up.
like a drug underground world, but with
I mean
chefs and
that's what
restaurant
they're
workers.
doing this whole that is what they're doing the whole movie, but it felt like it was just like a edgy gag. Let's have him get beat up, not beat up and for information to move the plot along. That's all I thought it
Yeah.
was. So it was just the reason to watch Nick Cage get his ass kicked. And then afterwards, because I didn't know he was a chef until the
Yeah.
scene with him and Alex Wolff are at his apartment, and then they have the scene with the other chef, and that's when I fully understood everything. So I think this movie does this on purpose, and if it does, it is the genius. This is one of the most genius parts of it, because I was like lukewarm on the Fight Club scene, and then I realized that all those people putting down money to whoop his ass are restaurants employees.
Mhm.
They were probably people that were abused by him when he was a chef, because he seems to have a reputation as a huge asshole and super tough, like a Gordon Ramsay, thing.
Like he was
Like
like,
he's just
like to the-
abusive.
the Fenway, the example for the audience for like the Fenway guy, where he's just like, yeah, fired you after 2 months because you kept undercooking your pasta. And like I remember every single thing you've said, everything you've like meal I've made, everything. Like he like knows everything. But yeah, I didn't realize that until you just said it though. That all those people were there because they had a gripe. Not there, but like all the people were putting down.
That little waiter guy plays up the most money, and I was like, why does he have this the scared look on his face? Like, because they're like, oh, maybe there's just rich people trying to pay to just beat up somebody for free.
That's what I thought it was. Those bum fights, like.
And that's what we thought too. That was like bum fights, and but no, yeah, they're restaurant workers, and I was like, this scene is so clever, and the fact is that they don't spell it out as it's happening, and you reconstruct it later, with the new information that you get. I love
It makes
that.
so much more sense now. Now looking at it like that.
That I loved. The part that I don't love and don't understand now till to this day is the parents and the cook thing. Like, is there something deeper going on here and I just don't get it, or what?
I mean, I think it was just more to convey just like how good he was as a chef, like how important, like he was that just fucking good that he could just fucking bring a couple together over it, or and like bring it back to food. It's just like maybe it's bringing back maybe the last time when the dad was happy ever in his life, and so having that like smells trigger.
I knew that. No, I
taste.
did mention that to Riss. Like, yeah, sensory memory thing.
Like when I smell cut grass, I immediately just think of the Hornets field and like playing football.
Yeah, no, me too. There's a certain time of summer with the heat and the smell that gives me Hornets every time. So I don't know, but it just like didn't. I don't know. It didn't work for me. I don't know why I was not connected to the story of his parents. The parents, I just did not give a fuck about.
I cared about Amir's relationship with the parents, but not necessarily like when the dad like starts crying in the office or whatever, just screaming for Nick Cage to get out. Like I'm just like, man, you're just a big asshole.
That's what I keep
like,
thinking. Like that, all your scenes just make you look like an asshole. Like,
but I also feel like that's the point. Like he is just an asshole. Like he doesn't even want his kid to work with him. But and also like I was like, because the whole time they make it seem like the dad owns one of the restaurants, but he doesn't. He just sells truffles to one of like to a certain amount or whatever, and it was just little things like that where they're just like giving you information, but not enough to really know who
the full
everyone
picture
is and why they are connected or how. Because like I thought that his dad was just a restaurant owner, and I like when they were going to the Fenways, I thought Fenways was the name of the restaurant and that's his dad's restaurant, but no, Fenway's the name of the chef at this restaurant, and that happens to be his dad's turf of selling shit. And it was like it took me until the very end of the movie to kind of get all that together, and then I had to like reread the synopsis on Wikipedia, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. This is cool. This was dope. But I feel like
Yeah, but maybe I need to read that. But if I have to read that to get it, then that is a knock.
that's I agree.
I think there's a level of coherence missing from the third act. I think the first act is flawed. That's what me and Riz said. The first half hour of this movie was like a fucking instant. It was like we're already there. We went from 0 to 30 in a second, and then from the rest of the movie just felt really long to me for a 92-minute movie.
I didn't think it felt long.
Not really long, but I started like getting like, all right, let's get, where are we getting to? And I didn't like where we got to.
Yeah, I did enjoy though that Nick Cage ends up becoming kind of a father figure for Amir toward the end, where he's like teaching him how to cook in the one of the ending scenes.
Yeah, it was sweet, but it was just like I didn't understand why.
It just seemed like the more insight Nick Cage got from Amir's like dad, and I was like, because he even asked like, I think
just
Nick
like
Cage
a shitty
asked
dad.
the dad about just like things about
Amir,
like the Amir in the past and stuff, and like Nick Cage like starts taking interest and stuff, and I wonder if it's just because like Nick Cage's wife died and they never got to have a kid, because they said he walked away from cooking like 15 years ago. So I'm assuming that's right around the time his wife died. But then also you got this weird segment where he's eating the French toast with Amir, and he's like just talking about the reason why he went in the woods is just because an earthquake's gonna hit and flood this whole city, but you can't go to the mountains because in the mountains is an active volcano, and it's all this like bleak dystopian shit.
Yeah, like he that's the other thing. I was like, you just went off the grid because you were afraid of the world ending. Like I didn't, but then it's like maybe because his dead wife.
Yeah, I took it as like he's realized the critics don't matter, like none of the opinions matter. It's all like you're all doing it for other people, but you're not doing anything for yourself. And then what does it matter whenever everyone's gonna die from a cataclysmic event anyways? So I'm just gonna live with my pig and just enjoy my days by myself, I guess. That's how I took it, but still was a little out of nowhere. Because
I still like this.
I love the movie. I think
it. It's so serious. It takes itself so serious, but it's really funny. The scene with where he big dogs that chef, is
oh god, yeah,
so
I had it written down.
That's my best. The Fenway, the Fenway chef. That was the best part of the movie for me.
He destroys his whole soul in an instant. Well, not an instant, but like in a matter of sentences, and is just fucking great.
You just watch him like erode this man's any assertiveness or like confidence this man had in just a few phrases.
Oh, it was so good. That's probably my favorite scene of the movie.
I agree. That's the best scene in the movie.
But if Nick Cage wasn't the lead in this, I don't think it would have been nearly as good. I think you are going to see this movie for Nick Cage doing Nick Cage.
But I don't think he was. I don't think he was really Nick Caging that hard. I thought his performance was very good, but I don't think like this movie would have like been fucked without him. It's just I think having.
I don't think I would have.
It worked. This was a great casting. I don't think he's the only one to have played this role, but I think it is a great casting.
I feel like if Nick Cage wasn't in it, I wouldn't have cared to see it outside.
Absolutely, the meme of Nick Cage.
And I played on that too because they set it up. Sorry, good.
There's a scene. I gotta talk about the scene where Nick Cage just like walks down the street, shows up in some back porch of some kid, and plays with him for like a second, and then leaves.
Well, he was saying that he threw a line out that was like, "I used to live here," and he was just
I think I must have missed that line.
Yeah, and that's why he's asking about like what happened to the persimmon tree. I can't remember the name of the tree, because I'm guessing that was a tree in their backyard when he owned the house.
What did he? Then the other scene I wanted to ask about was when he visited that bakery with that girl or that woman. I wasn't sure if that was. At first, I thought it was his daughter or something. Like it was a daughter, and he was just treating her like an employee because he's a tough dad. But it seemed. But then by the end of it, I was like, he literally. She's like, yes, chef, and did the little like pose and shit. And I'm like, you are probably just a former sous chef of his.
Yeah. So what I picked up was that bakery was his old restaurant that she took over after he walked away, because she's like, I kept it the same for a couple years, but I'm a baker, I'm not a chef, and then converted his restaurant into a bakery. That's at least what I got out of it. And
I was
then
starting to check out a little bit at this point. Like, not that I was hating it, just I was starting to check out a little bit.
yeah, and I'm guessing she must have worked with him, but also was friends with his wife, because he's like, you took down the curtains, and she was like, well, that's what she never liked me anyways, and he was like, yeah, it looks better, you're right. So that's like, I don't know, that's what I took away from it. It was cool. It was just a nice. It felt like just you're getting these little vignettes of just his former life through conversations with former people, and I think it worked. I think it added a nice little another layer of dimension to the character.
I think it's an easy watch, but it felt like an easy watch at first. But like I said, the end felt a little more bogged down for me. But definitely recommend it. Definitely liked it a lot. Definitely. Like, I'm glad Nick Cage is getting more movies like this after Mandy and stuff, because he should be doing more of this and not. I mean, I'm sure he could be doing straight to DVD stuff to supplement his income, because I hear that he needs money because he blows it. But I feel like he should be doing more indie movies that are actually trying and not just trash action shit. He did he did that like Five Nights at Freddy's horror, like pulp horror movie. I think it was like last year it came out, but it was supposed to be pretty bad. It wasn't official. It wasn't official. It's like a play on it or something. I don't know. I think they wanted it to be official, and it just didn't. The license didn't come through or something.
I would say between this and Mandy, like, these are the kind of style I think he needs to just stay in. I loved Mandy. I thought it was fucking great.
Just good indie movies, like good projects.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. And I'm glad he's having a little bit of a renaissance the last few years.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to score this. It's a short, simple movie. Once you get past the. Oh, we didn't talk about the ending. We did not talk about the ending. The pig. Spoilers. The pig is dead. There was no pig to rescue. I think that was this. I don't know if that's if they've ever done that in those other movies, but it did feel like a subversion. I was a little deflated by the pig being dead, but I appreciated it was not what I expected.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was fine. I expected the pig to die, but I figured it would be something that we'd see. Or I figured he'd get at least one more interaction with the pig before death, but having it die off screen just kind of feels like that's how we're ending it. We've taken this character through his whole, made him relive his whole life before he walked away from it, and pig's dead. It's over. But I don't know. I still liked it. It was cool. I feel like I don't know, the ending, when the ending happened, it felt natural at the same time, though. It was because it holds pretty long on that silent of him breaking down.
It's just where else would it have gone? I guess at the weird tale that they weaved at this point with that fucking dad. Well, the dad character is the strangest. Once the dad is introduced on screen, I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I think I had something, I lost it, but
sorry, I jumped on you.
No, it's all good. I don't think it was important. I don't know, but yeah, I'm ready to score. I liked it. I definitely liked it. I liked it probably almost as much as the Green Knight, but not as much.
and it's just because I like Nick Cage a lot, and I liked this kind of a movie. We didn't really talk about the cinematics of it, but this is in the style of movie that I joke around with my friends and call the softest of soft boys lighting, where it's just there's no hard light, everything is just super soft light, even like full daylight is still very soft.
Yeah,
and it's very easy on the eyes.
The visuals didn't stand out to me really much, but I think that was it's almost a case of if I don't notice it's bad, then it must have been good.
Yeah, I took it as like it's lighting and cinematography that is matching the somberness and recluseness of Nick Cage's character. So it's like he's a very not harsh guy. He's very somber and all that stuff. So all the lighting and the story and the way it's shot and the pacing all kind of reflects that, because this is very nothing's frantic about it, about the editing or anything. Everything is like everything is just very slow, but not too slow, but smooth through. Like I didn't feel like any 1-2 scene hung on too long, and it just kind of, I feel like the way that this movie was shot is a representation of like Nick Cage's character in the beginning. And as he opens up more, the scenes open up more and everything. But
yeah, I think this is like it's definitely got that indie vibe. It feels like a makeable film, like you could make this film with the budget, and the plot is simple, but it's complex, and I appreciate that, and that's what makes it a good movie. And it's doing something different. Regardless if I think it was executed perfectly, it's definitely doing something perfect. It's doing something different, and it's doing something cool, and it's well casted for sure with these the two leads. And yeah, definitely recommend it. It's a pretty easy watch, fairly easy watch. Yeah.
I couldn't find the budget for this film, but I did learn that this is the director's debut. This is his first feature release feature film. So I'm down to watch more from this guy. This was not an A24 film. This was a
Neon.
This is even more indie than that.
Neon is when I first got into A24, a lot of people said Neon was one of the distributors that is similar. I guess they did they did I, Tonya, just looking here. Ingrid Goes West. The Beach Bum. That's about all. On Parasite, they did Parasite and Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I knew they had some big ones.
I'm curious about what the budget was, because so far box office it's only brought in just under $3 million, but I'm assuming the cast took a hit on pay for this, and it's very. I mean, this seems like it'd probably be like a $1 million budget, like 1 to 2.
Yeah, it seemed way less a budget than Green Knight.
Yeah, it's very small, small scale, and small. Most of the stuff that you need is just location.
But all right, I'm scoring it. I'm giving it a 3.5.
I'll go with that. I agree with that. I give it 3.5.
I think it's fun, and I would be fine with somebody scoring it even up to another point if they really had fun. Not just fun, but really like this vibe.
I initially wanted to give it a 4, but I just kind of, I don't know. After talking about it out loud for the last 30 minutes,
you don't want the Nick Cage effect to color. You don't want to wear cage colored glasses, I think is what it is. And I get exactly what you're saying about his charm elevates your interest in it,
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of lines in this movie, but it's just him, his look, and you just got old man Nick Cage covered in blood and bruises and shit, just walking around looking for his pig, and it's just like the saddest version of John Wick.
It's a anti John Wick, I would call this, in the turn, how you would use an anti-hero or something. It is a John Wick, but it is the anti John Wick. You're gonna think it's gonna be one way, and it's gonna not be that way. All right, Two great movies. So feels so good to watch new movies. Two good new movies. Feels good to get out of the action movies. And yeah, what are we doing next week? I think we got.
Well, Suicide Squad just came out on Friday.
Yeah, I think we have to do Suicide Squad.
And
One, because
been getting
it's.
great
I'm a
reviews.
James Gunn fan. Regardless of how you feel about superhero movies, I was James Gunn fan well before that. Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm very interested to see what he's offering up because it looks ridiculous.
I'm excited to see him giving an R-rated freedom of to do a superhero movie.
There's a ton of movies coming out. Like, I know you mentioned there's not a lot in the theaters, but there are a ton of movies coming out that are good in the indie sphere and otherwise that we want to catch up on. I saw a couple others the other day that I was interested in, but we were talking about Zola. We were talking about.
Oh, Zola, I do want to see. I think that would be good.
All
That's a
right,
fun
let's do Zola. Let's just do Zola then, because then we have an indie one and we have a mainstream one,
And they're both fun. They're both supposed to be fun rides.
Zola technically came out in 2020, but I don't remember it being in.
It never released because of COVID.
Yeah, so it didn't release
like
until like a month ago or 2 months ago, I guess now probably.
Yeah, it was the same thing with the Green Knight. They just pushed it a year for COVID. But is Zola A24 as well?
Yeah, Zola is A24.
They are getting all the properties, all the
new
stories.
shit, all that newness.
Yeah, I mean, my dumbass didn't even realize I work on Euphoria and didn't realize A24 co-funds that show.
Yeah, I forgot about the two being a fan. We've been meaning to watch it. We are watching right now the show Hannibal because Riss is a big fan of Brian Fuller, the showrunner. We're still wheedling that Attack on Titan, and we have been watching a YouTube documentary series. Sorry, I was like thinking while talking. About the internet personality known as Chris Chan, and it is fucking buck wild. And it's like,
yeah, I saw the news articles.
Yeah, it's like 60 40-minute parts on the YouTube documentary. And
60.
Yeah, and we're on 34 right now. Yeah.
How long is each one?
40 minutes.
You've watched 34 40-minute
It's
things.
fucking crazy, dude. It's
about
just
one
fascinating.
person?
Internet culture, and it's fascinating.
How is it that much content?
They're the most they're the most documented person maybe ever in terms of video
60, 40-minute
phone conversations recorded of this person.
Dude, that's like 7 seasons of a Netflix show. Holy fuck.
Yeah, it really is. Shit's getting wild now too. Now that we're at the past halfway.
Jesus Christ! I don't even. Wow, that's nuts.
What are you watching? I know you've been busy, but are you getting into anything outside of our movies lately?
I'm not gonna lie, Justin. I'm on the last Twilight movie already.
Oh well, we'll save it because me and Riss will be very pleased to know that, and we'll do a special.
Kylie and I just went on a thing. Honestly, it's one of the they're all terrible, but it's one of those things where it's like nothing happens. Like shit happens, but like essentially you'll see what I mean. But nothing happens, but for some reason I don't mind wanting to watch the next one. If that makes sense. But it's all terrible.
Yeah, it's because it's so good. It's so bad. It's good. That's what right.
I don't even think it's bad, but it's definitely MST.
You don't even think it's bad?
No, I'm saying it's bad, but I don't think there's any redeeming. Like, no, it's not like it's so bad.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like so bad, like the Room or something.
I think The Room is a better film than these.
What? Have you seen The Room?
Yeah, multiple times.
That movie is so hard to watch. That movie is so hard to watch.
That is a so bad it's good movie.
I think that movie is so bad it's bad for me.
These movies just come off like just fucking fan fiction, like shitty fan fiction. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Every character is terrible. Jacob's a huge incel that people just get wet over. It doesn't make sense. Robert Pattinson's a pedophile. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of pedophilia in it. Apparently, it's this Mormon woman's fantasy. That's what.
Yeah,
it's
it's
described.
literally just like, man, what it would be like to have two hot dudes both want to just fuck me.
But I don't. But there's no fucking. It's all teasing and smoldering
Yeah.
because they can't actually fuck.
Sex happens once in 5 movies.
Yeah, they like break the violent shit. I know about it. All right, we're getting too much into it. So I'm cutting this. But yeah, all right. Well, we got our movies next week. I'm really excited to watch Suicide Squad and Diazola as well. So you got anything else you want to say before we sign off?
We had talked about, and I'm up for anything, but just since we hit 10, are we doing next week, or did you want to go to every other week?
Oh, let's I figure we should wait until we clear out our backlog of new things, and then once we are, on top of things better, we can plan it out.
Cool. The only reason I'm asking is because I work next Saturday. I got booked on a cooking pilot. But if you wanted to do Sunday again for next week,
yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. Well then, yeah, I'm cool. I'm good. I just wanted to make sure get that out of the way.
All right, and then I guess I'll talk to you after the podcast about other things, but let's we can wrap up. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. If you have, make sure you follow us. Follow me, Slob Thomas, on Twitch and all the other things. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Best Boys, on YouTube. We also have a Facebook page, and yeah, there's gonna be some updates and things, and things we got cooking, and I'm excited. But yeah, bye.
Super excited. See you guys later.